Welcome back. I want to apologize if I sound a little preachy on that previous video. I didn't mean to. But let's do this video, which I think is a little bit lighter and a little bit more fun. So let's talk about hormone fluctuations and what they do. Because remember, the male did this. He hit puberty. His testosterone went up and it stayed up till he hit his 40s when it went down about 25%. And then he coasted on until he was his 80s. Women, on the other hand, our hormones are doing this. Remember, estrogen, luteinizing hormone, progesterone are doing this. And we are doing this with all four of those hormones every single month. We can't control it. Our bodies are doing it, which is why, like, I'm fine, I hate you, I love you, I want ice cream, get away, oranges, whatever. Okay, premenstrual syndrome. That's due to these massive hormone fluctuations, okay? So just recognize it. If it is, count the days and just realize you might be a little gritchier than normal for a day before, a day or around a day or two around ovulation, and and you might be a little bit kind of down, like the day or two before your period because the hormones have plummeted. Just be aware of it. But here's the thing I always said. I always thought it was easier to raise daughters than sons, because with daughters, you would just go, okay, it's hormonal. I know in a day or two, she'll be back to her normal, whatever her normal self is. Whereas with boys, when they got moody, you're going, I don't know why they're moody. I don't know why. Their testosterone's like this. Okay, it has shot up. They've hit puberty. Their testosterone, I don't know why they're moody. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to get back to normal. I don't know, to leave them alone or to give them empathy or what to do. So, ladies, just recognize it. Men, never ask a woman if she's PMSing. That is not good, because if she is PMSing, she can bite your head off. And if she's not, she's going to bite your head off. Okay, so just slowly back away from the room and come back. Not the best of time to make great decisions. This might be when you have a few arguments. All right, so you get to expect that, and then you get menopause. Now, most people are using the wrong word when they say menopause, because most people, when they're talking menopause, they're talking the change of life, when the periods start going away, you have the hot flashes. That's not menopause. Okay. That's perimenopause. And here's what happens. At some age, it could be 40, 45, 50, 55. You want to have an estimate, and you're going, oh my God, that's like a 15, 20-year span. You want to have an estimate, talk to your mom, or go back and think, when I was, what age was she really having her hot flashes? And figure out how old she was then. Because if she was having her hot flashes at 42, odds are you're going to have your hot flashes pretty much around the same time. You're not going to be putting them off until you are 60. If, on the other hand, your mom was still having periods when she was 58, 59, then you're not going to be going through menopause at 40. Okay, so here are the various phases. The first thing that happens is basically the ovaries aren't responding to the gonadotropin. They're going like, I am sick of this. You know what? I have done this every month. And at this point, we are done with it. Okay. And so you start having hot flashes because of the hormonal fluctuations. Okay. And sometimes the hot flashes are in the daytime where you recognize hot flashes, but a lot, especially at the beginning, there's a lot of hot flashes at night when you're asleep, and you don't know, except that you wake up drenched in bed, and you get up and you change your nightgown or your t-shirt or your PJs or whatever. So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, if you see your mom in different PJs than she had the night before, don't necessarily think they were doing the horizontal tangle in bed. Just think, oh, she's going through menopause, and that's why she changed clothes. And so this can go on for a few years. And in fact, there have been many women who goes to their doctor and says, oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. I have had a fever every night for the last 2 weeks. And a huge workup gets done. And then finally somebody realizes, oh, you're going through menopause. And then the periods start becoming irregular. And by irregular, I just mean they change. And so at this point, you think, awesome, no more 7-day heavy flow. I'm looking forward to the 2 or 3 day super light flow. Okay, Well, long before the drying up of the Red Sea happens, there is a flood. And usually what happens initially in the early parts of perimenopause is that your periods get heavier, they last longer, and you cannot stand it. This often drives a lot of women to their OBGYN, and you get ultrasounds. Please pray there's a polyp in there so I won't be hemorrhaging anymore. And this is oftentimes where if you're going to do some hormonal manipulation, get put on the pill basically because that makes your period plummet because the functional layer of the endometrium doesn't thicken hardly at all. This often happens around that time. But let's assume you didn't do any of that. After maybe 3 to 8 years of this stuff, you get your final period. When it has been 1 year, and by 1 year, I mean 12 months. I don't mean 11 months and 2 weeks. When it has been 1 full year, and let me tell you, ladies, you're going to start keeping track. When it's been 1 full year since your last period, that's when you're in menopause. Do not shortchange this. You're going to have starts and stops. You're going to have times where you go 4 months without a period, and you're going to be, yes, I'm on the way. And then you're going to have periods like every month for 3 months. And then you may go 6 months, and then you may have a period, then skip a month and have a period or whatever. Whatever you do, do not make the mistake of my sister's husband's mom. Okay, so my sister's mother-in-law. She and her husband had I don't know how many kids, maybe 6 kids. They have a fair number of kids. And their youngest child was now entering middle school. And so they didn't have very many kids left at home. I think they were down to 2 or 3 of them. And so they decided, it's time for us to take a vacation, just mom and dad, because we haven't had vacation in a long time. And so they went to Mexico. And they went to Mexico for a couple of weeks, and his mom got really sick while they were in Mexico, hadn't paid much attention to what she was eating. And when she came back, still was having a lot of the nausea and the vomiting. They did the full GI workup, and they were running all these tests, and nothing was being found. And it literally took 3 months for them to figure out that she was pregnant. And that's my sister's husband. And he's 12 years younger than his closest sibling. So 12 months without a period. Because if you think it's a bad idea to have kids when you're 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, it's equally a bad idea to have children when you're 55. All right. So menopause, as I said, we're having some hormonal changes, and you're not PMSing in menopause because you're not emming that much. But you get what I like to, with love, refer to as the 7 dwarfs of menopause, which essentially are the signs and symptoms that go along. Itchy, your skin itches everywhere, and this is totally a hormonal change. Itchy, yes, sweaty, bloaty, sleepy, forgetful, and my favorite, the cycle bits. Okay, so I think most of us have recognized this last one in our mothers. Okay, not me, of course, because I was the perfect mother. But anyway, that's it for this part. Like I said, this section was a lot fluffier, and it was just to make you realize that I didn't mean to come down hard on you previously. So thank you, and I will see you for the next section.